Hello there guys, and welcome back to another lesson with us here at Jason's Guitar School. So today what we're going to be covering is Sweet Home Alabama, both the strumming and the tab, with using just 3 easy chords. So the sheet that we're going to be following is this one here. So you can either write down the details or screenshot it or do whatever. Just make sure you have a copy so you can follow along. So the 3 chords we're going to be using are D, C, and G, and then we have this little tab which I'll refer to later on. So let's get straight into the strumming. So in your D chord, you're going to count to 4, and you're going to do 4 strums. So it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4. But on the 4th, for this song, they do a down up instead of just a down. So you still count to 4, 1, 2, 3, but on the 4th, you do a down up. That's the only difference in this song. So you still play your 4 strums, but it's a down up at the end. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And you do that once per chord. So it's 1 for D, 1 for C, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's 2 G chords, and you do your strum pattern once for each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want, you can just do a mini strum on the 2nd strum to give it more of a country feel. So it's 1, touch, down, down, up. So that's 1, touch, down, down, up. And you're probably wondering, what strings do you hit when you touch? It doesn't matter. If you want more of a bass sound, hit the higher strings. So these bass ones up here. If you want more of a high pitch sound, hit the lower ones. It really doesn't matter what you do once you just don't hit all the strings. So it's a full strum, touch, and then down, down. Same for the rest. Okay, so if you do it the basic way, with just counting to 4, it'll sound like this. And if you change the 2nd strum to just a touch, it'll sound like this. Okay, just a subtle little difference to show a progression in technique. So that is the strumming part of the song. I'll refer back to the page now for the tab. So the tab, there aren't too many numbers and there are a few underlined. Now what I've done is broken it into 3 parts. So first I want you to focus on this first part. So if you look, the number 2 there is underlined. So what you're going to do now is try and learn to trust your left hand to do techniques and go to places without you looking at all the time. So that's what the notes are underlined for. So number 2 is underlined. We put him on before we start playing. Then we pick D, D. Then we pick the G string that finger's on and pull off without looking. So you're allowed to look at the start when you put your finger on, but after that you're not allowed to look at all at that finger. So we focus just on reading the sheet or reading the material and picking the correct strings, and we trust that hand is in the right place and he knows what to do. So we put him on G2, we look away and we pick D, D, G, pull off. Okay. Then for section 2, the number that's underlined is the number 3 on the A string. So again, you're allowed to look at your finger while you put them in the right place, but we're not allowed to look at anymore. So we pick the A, and then G open. Without looking at your hand, move that finger up a string to the big E string number 3, and we pick E, E, G. So at the start of section 2, you look at your hand, make sure it's on A number 3. You pick the A, G strings. Then without looking at your hand, you move that finger up a string. So from the A up to the E string, and you pick E, E, G. And that goes. Okay. So section 1 is doing an action while trusting your finger to know what to do. Section 2 is trusting your hand to move up and down on a string without looking. So the first one goes. Second one. Now section 3 combines what we learned in section 1 and 2. So you're going to be moving up and down on a string and doing an action. So section number 3 are your hammer-ons. Now the note we're going to put your finger on is 2 on the D string. So put your finger on 2 on the D string, Eddie 8 down, right? 2 on the D string, and just before we pick, we lift that finger off the string a little bit. So it's not squeezed on, it's off just a little bit, but we don't want them completely off. So the technique we're going for is a hammer-on, and we just pick the string and hammer him on to number 2. So pick D, hammer. Then we're not allowed to look at our hand as that finger moves down the string. Pick G, hammer, move back up a string for D, hammer, and then take them off for just D. So we start and finish on that open D string. So that's the section 3. You're moving up and down on the D and G string, and you're not allowed to look at your hand as you pick and hammer. So it's right. So again, section 1, you're putting your finger on G2. You're trusting he'll know how to do the technique. Section 2, we put him on A number 3, and we trust that he'll be able to move without looking. And section 3, we combine both of them with action and movement. So it's the D and G string moving and action. Okay? Now if you want to get that real country sound, you have to practice your timing on that last part. So you have to count through it. You pick the first note, and you only hammer on when you're ready to go on to the next note. So going fast doesn't mean pick and hammer on very quick. It's about going to the next string very quick. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's what you're going to do. So you're still counting to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The hammer on is the and in between the numbers. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you don't want that to be too fast, but 1 and, 2 and. Because then that creates a big pause before you go on to the next string. So keep it nice and even, and start off as slow as you want or as slow as you can manage, just to get that even sound. Okay, and then you add it all together. And then you can mix that in with your strumming as well. So you have your strumming. So later on I'll show you how to mix the strumming and the tab together. For now, just work on the timing of the strumming with that little touch strum in between. Work on the tab, learning to trust your hand without constantly looking down or supervising its movements. And we'll leave it at that for today, guys. I will see you next week, where we will be doing another song. I will see you then.